Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin and today I have my next update for my combination project. So I have my project 10 uses and my no pan left behind. So I'm going to play my intro stuff early so I don't try to figure out where it goes in. So we're going to run that right now and then I'll be back to explain what I am doing with this video and these projects. So I will start by saying that I am just off a 10-hour shift, so you guys are getting after work Erin. And so we are not paying attention to the makeup. We do not mind the stain on my shirt that happened throughout the day. We're not minding the crazy hair. We are just talking about makeup and how I have been doing with my projects. So we're ignoring everything else. We agree? We agree? Okay, good. So with my project 10 uses, because that is the part of the project that I talk about first in these videos. So I noticed with my project panning that I was ignoring certain products or product categories in my collection and they just were not getting used. So what I kind of did with this is I randomly roll 10 items into this project. I use them 10 times, either to decide my feelings on them, as Wash comes and says hello, or to just get use on them, or to say, do I need to declutter it? Has the formula changed? So it's my way of dipping my hands into more of my items in my collection, and it has been wonderful for that. So we do have quite a few rollouts this update, but we also have my no pan left behind, which I do that on the second half of this video, and that is where I'm trying to touch every single shadow in my collection. Again, I randomly roll in palettes and I use every shadow before I consider it checked off my list. But let me go ahead. I have not taken pictures. I have not weighed anything. I have not done my graphics. I will end up doing that tonight or tomorrow so that I can upload this by Friday, but I do have my stuff pulled up so we will be able to go through our rollouts. And let me actually see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, 4. Let me consult my book real quick because I don't think I used that other one. Right, I have 4 rollouts, so that means we will roll in 4 more products, and because we are getting near the end of the year, I might take some of the power back into my own hands as far as what I'm rolling in, but let me get all my items set out, and then we will go over the items that I have been able to use 10 times. Okay, so this first one will be a hallelujah moment for me and probably everybody, but I had my Makeup Geek Desire blush rolled into this project, and for the longest time, this has been in for 4 months already, so this would be the 5th update that this blush has been in. Last update, I only had 5 uses on it. I buckled down and I used this an additional 5 times, so this finally can roll out. I know a lot of people were like, use a stipple brush. I was like, girl, I was. I have stipple brushes from Sigma and Luxie, and so actually my one in my cup back there is dirty, and that is the stipple brush that I was using with this blush. And even then, like, anytime I would do the stipple brush in there, I would scrub it into the top and then I would tap it off on my little washcloth, and it still, wherever I would touch my cheek with that brush, would leave like an imprint of the stipple brush, and I'd really have to blend it out. So I'm not to the point where I'm going to say, like, just crumble this up and throw this away. I could see myself, like, mixing this with, like, a translucent powder to try to thin out the pigment a little bit to see if that would work. But I do love having a deep berry blush, and so I'm going to keep this around, maybe do some repressing towards the end of the year, so I'll see what I can do with it. I'm just happy to have 10 uses on this blush and to have it rolled out. Let's see which one is my next one that I've been able to use up. Oh, So the next item that I was able to reach my 10 uses on is my Burberry Her Elixir perfume. This is the 1 ounce, and I'm not able to make a new mark because I had 8 uses last time. So using it 2 more times, I'm not getting another mark. And so we're pretty much still right there on this bottle. I think I told you guys that I'm going to be looking forward to using this more in the fall because it does have a little bit more. It's still fruity and like vanilla based, but it does have a musk to it that I like this a whole lot more in the winter leading into like the cold spring. That's what this reminds me of. So I'll be getting a lot more use on it in the springtime when it's cold here. I just feel like also like this would smell better in cold weather versus in hot weather. So happy to have this, but also glad to get my 10 uses on it. Let's see. Oh, the next one that I'm able to roll out is my Becca highlighter in Moonstone, and this is just a mini. So I got this at TJ Maxx when Becca went out of business and they were just like discontinuing everything. But I had already had pan on this, and this is the second update that this has been in. So I had 5 uses on it last month, and then I was able to use it 5 more times, and that is where we're at. So the pan did expand a little bit, and you'll see in my graphics that I pop up because I put the like all the pictures kind of lined up together. You'll see the progression, but I definitely can see looking at these pictures and looking at the pan, it's thinner on one side and the pan definitely is expanded on this. So this is not my favorite. Like, I think that the Becca formula was good for the time, but there's been so many other amazing like highlighter formulas that have come out that like, and maybe it's just the color because I don't really like a gold leaning highlight. I like more of a pinky leaning highlight. So I really want Smashbox to come out with minis of these because using up a full highlighter is a task and a half. But I mean, I would probably love to pick up Opal again, but Moonstone is just a little bit too gold for me. It is what I have on my cheeks today, so it does give a really nice reflect. I mean, and I'm under lights, so of course, but it's not my favorite. I could see myself panning this next year just to get it out of my collection. And speaking of my highlighters, let's see here. My other one, so my Tarte highlighting palette. I've had every other shade rolled into this project except for shade number 3. And so that's this one down here. All of them had pan originally, so I just expanded the pan on this one. Washburn, baby, you can't knock into my lights. I know. You're so excited, but you can't knock into my lights. Okay, I don't mean to talk to you like that because that's going to get you excited. But I can see from the pictures that the pan has expanded, and I've made like a little bridge of a pan where I'm going to hit even more pan in the center here. So I was able to use this 10 times. I do really, really enjoy this highlighter. And actually, no, I lied. This is the highlighter that is on my cheeks, not Moonstone. So Moonstone doesn't get this reflective. This is actually shade number 2 in this palette. That's what's on my cheeks today. And even my Franken highlighters that I was able to make, these are more impactful than the Becca highlights. So I prefer these over that one. But I was able to get my 10 uses on shade number 3. So even though that palette is my focus for my project pan, I was enjoying being able to reach into each shade more intentionally because I do favor some of the shades over the others. So rolling the individual shades into this project was just fun for me because between these two here, these are the only highlighters that I have in my collection. So I'm not necessarily like, I don't have highlighter coming out of my ears. So definitely I didn't need to necessarily like square in and focus on them. But for the rest of the items in here, let me go back to the top of my list here. And we will look at how I've done on these other products. So the first progress item, I did have Urban Decay Stash rolled in, one of the eyeliners. Last update, I had 6 uses on it. Now I have 9. Come on, Erin. You couldn't have used Stash in your look today, even to Tightline. I might roll an additional product in because I only have one more use on this. I feel like if I do a green look tomorrow or a neutral look tomorrow, I can use this and get the 10th use. And so I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to promise you guys and promise myself I'm going to use this pencil tomorrow for my 10th use, and I'll roll it out. But just know, as of today and as of the graphics and the weights that you're going to see, that's only 9 uses. So this one is super, super close, and shame on me for not using it an additional time. Now, one that I have not had as many uses on, and it's because the palettes that I've been having rolled in, this doesn't really lend to those color stories, and that is one of my ColourPop liners, and this is in Wild Idea. This is one of their duochrome, so it shifts from like a bright green to like a dark teal, and so I do like this. It is a pretty shade. The shift is not as apparent as you think, and it would have been too green for this look today. So while I have blue on my eyes today, this would not have gone with this look because this turns out to be more green than actual teal. But I only have 2 uses on this. I had this rolled into my deck of panning previously, so I had to wrap up my uses on it in that project before I started working on it in this project. But this is still front and center in my little cup back there, but I still do have 8 more uses to go on Wild Idea. Let's look at my other perfume that I had in here. So this is the Valentino Born in Roma Coral. This is just obviously a travel size. Let me get it out of its little spiky case. And I have been able to use this. Last update, I only had 2 uses on it. Now I'm up to 6. And so we are down to there. So just a little bit further down. I'll make sure to mark it before I take my pictures, but just a little dip in this. This is the fragrance that I keep in my purse, so I don't necessarily have this sitting out in my closet to spray. It's one of those things that if language, Erin, I know you've been talking all day for work, but you can continue to talk. It is, if I have not already put a perfume on for the day and I leave the house, that is something that I'm going to spray on myself while I'm out. So we have 6 uses on that, so 4 more to go. That's still, since it's taken me this long to kind of piece together this one, I'm not going to roll something new in for that one. I'm going to let that one ride with 4 more uses needed. Let's look to see. Our next one is one of my Franken blushes, and this is my blush that I call Serenity. So it's pressed into a compact that is the Makeup Geek compact, and it's pressed into one of the pans. I actually think that this pan was the original pan for Desire, so I reused the pan that fits perfectly in here. But this is a mosaic blush. This is something where when I repressed all of my blushes into the square pans, not all the product fit. So I took the extra and I repressed it and made a mosaic blush into here, which I absolutely love. And if you're new, Serenity is the name of the spaceship in Firefly, and all of my dogs are named after characters from Firefly. So Serenity actually has a deep meaning for me and this household. So last update, I had 4 uses on this. I am up to 7 uses. So I was able to use it 3 more times, which that's weird because I feel like I used it a whole lot more, but apparently not. So we still have 3 more uses on this. It'll probably take me a whole another month to get the 3 uses on this. I'm still loving this, and I can see that there is a disturbance on this pan and that I am wearing down a little bit of the product. And so I am happy to have this little special blush to me, but we do have 3 more uses on that one. Let's go down. What's our next one? So our next one is the Holo Taco nail polish. So this is in Violet Nightmares, and this is actually what I have on my nails today. I have the unicorn or the cosmic unicorn flaky on top of it, which adds a little bit of a holographic kind of sparkle to them, but definitely this is a beautiful polish. Now, This one I might cheat on a little bit just to roll something else in. So the way that I do nail polish in this project is that I count each hand or foot as a use. So I have 8 uses. So I would only need to do another manicure or another pedicure with this to be able to roll this out. I am promising you guys right here and right now that I will do my toes in this. Now, of course, I'm not going to post a picture and let you guys see because this is not that kind of channel and I'm not giving away that kind of content for free. But I will paint my toes with this and I will promise you guys that I will do that, and that will be my last 2 uses to be able to roll this out. I'll paint my toes tonight if I have enough time to sit down and not move for a little while. So that is one more item, and then we are done with our updates and we'll be able to roll in some new things. So this rolled in last update, and this is my Clinique Quick Liner in Intense Black. So this is just the black one. I love these for tight lining. They are a mechanical pencil, and once you roll them up, you cannot roll them down. So do not try to roll these up to see how much product is. These came in a like set during last holiday. So these are actually like minis. They're not the full size of the product. But again, I love these for tight lining and they're just so smooth. They stay, they don't tug on your eyes. They don't like scrape at your eyes like a sharpenable pencil. And I really do love these. So I have 7 uses on this, so 3 more to go. That's not going to be hard for me to do, but that if I had 1 more use on it, I would roll it out, but I have 3, so we'll let this ride and we will roll this out next time. So 3 more uses on that. So what am I doing? I'm rolling out 4, technically 5. So we're going to bring in 5 more items. Actually, no, 6, because I have 1 more use on this and I'll promise that I'll do it. Okay, so we're rolling out 6 and we're rolling over 4. Ooh, we have a lot of room for quote unquote error. Now, I'm curious about doing something because my 2 other Essence blushes that I repressed into the square pans, I think one is Beloved and not Believing because I've done Believing. Let me grab my book and let me tell you guys. So I keep track of when I use my blushes, and Befitting and Beloved are 2 of my Essence blushes that I have not used at all this year. So I'm considering just biting the bullet and rolling those 2 into this project. But let me do some spins on the wheel and let me see what the wheel gives me. Now I know, you guys know, I try to tell this thing no repeating, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But let me go ahead and grab, what are you itching for, bro? Let me go ahead and grab my marker and we will spin the wheel and we will see what we get, and then we'll see about rolling those 2 other blushes in just so they're at the forefront of my mind. Also, can we bring back bro? Can we bring that back? I call my dogs bro all the time. So can we bring that back as something to say? But let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. Okay, let's see what it gives us. Alrighty, let's do roll number 1. INLP Lockup Base Coat. So that is my brand new base coat that I bought. I'm not done with my Holo Taco base coat yet, so I didn't want to bring in, and I probably shouldn't have base coats in this project. So I'm actually going to re-roll on that one because I don't want to open that base coat until my other one is finished. So we're going to pretend like nail prep is not in this project. So let's roll again for number 1. Urban Decay Smog. Okay, so we have an eyeliner. Let's see, roll number 2. Hourglass If Only. That is in my project pan, so we're not going to do that one. Essence Beloved. That is one of the ones that I had to do, right? Right? Wheel, are you finally listening to me? Yes, Beloved is one of them. Thank you, Wheel. All right, so that's 2 down, 4 to go. My Pretty Thing blush. Have I done that one? I know I had that rolled into my deck of panning. No, I actually had my brown cream blush rolled into my deck of panning, so I don't think I've rolled this one in yet. This is my red one. So let me go ahead and put that down. All right. Cosmic Unicorn Skin. So that's the one that I have on top of here. I don't believe I've done the Fallen Flaky one, but I don't believe that I have done the Cosmic Unicorn. And bless it, if you guys can hear Jane's stomach from all the way over there, he has had bubble guts all day, and it sounds like a spooky house coming out of his stomach right now. The poor guy. But no, let's do the Holo Taco, the Cosmic Unicorn Skin, because I love that flaky. All right, so that was number 4, so we have 2 more to go. Coral Fixation, that one is an empty. Urban Decay Alkaline. Okay, I love that. That's a nice dark maroon colored liner. And it reminds me of the band Alkaline Trio from my emo days. Let me know if you guys were emo also. Tell me if that is what you guys went through. Franken blush in Ronin. We've already done both of my other Franken blushes. Let's see. We've done all my highlight Tarte palette shades. We've done I don't want to do the brown one again and have both of my cream blushes. I might take the executive decision right now to roll in the other Essence blush in for the 4th time since my brain can't remember it. Befitting. Let's just roll that one in. And that's technically 6, but I kind of feel like a glutton for punishment. Let me roll one more. Just for funsies. Just for funsies. Menchie the Cat. I've done that one already. Thank the Lord, because that one is so thick and gloopy right now. Tiramisu. I feel like I've done that one because I came back and told you guys how much I dislike that liner. Yes, I did Tiramisu all the way back in January. Give me something good. Divine Blush. So the Pat McGrath palette, I ended up repressing and creating 2 or 3 blushes in that instead of, but I don't have the blushes listed individually. I think I am going to go ahead and I'll roll in the palette as a whole, and I'll just have to use the palette 10 times. So we will do that. I think I had that palette in earlier for like a deck of panning prompt, but I don't think I have had it in this project. But we will roll in the Pat McGrath blush palette because I don't have any other Pat McGrath Divine Blush. Let me hold 1 minute. Okay, I was wondering if one of the shades in here was called Divine, and it's not. It's just the Divine Blush and Glow Trio from the Bridgerton collection. So we will use that palette 10 times. All right, lots of blushes. So now that we have all of my items, let me stop my screen recording. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull all these things so I can show you guys, and then we will be able to roll into my No Pan Left Behind. Okay, so we have, I'll just do my 2 liners together, even though they were drawn in different orders. So we have Smog and Alkaline. Let me do a swatch of Smog, which is a beautiful kind of like antique copper. And then Alkaline is just a beautiful matte maroon. So we have Smog and Alkaline. Beautiful shades. Love these liners. And I know a lot of people don't like using red liner as like a tight line, but I actually really like that, even though it makes, sometimes it can make people look a little bit sickly, but I am totally down with that look. I'm okay with looking like a tired vampire, sickly creature. I am totally cool with that. Obviously, because I'm on camera with makeup that was put on 12 hours ago, I feel like a sickly vampire who is tired. So these are my two liners. I will have 10 uses each on these, and these are really good shades, obviously, to roll into fall with as well. Let's do the two blushes from Essence. Let me see which one is which. So this one is Beloved, and this one is Befitting. And so maybe you guys can see the tone differences between those two. One is a little bit more neutral, one is a little bit more pink. And so these are my last two Essence blushes that I need to use. So I will do 10 uses each on both of these. Beautiful colors. Will not be hard at all to reach for these, but this is an additional like 20 uses of my makeup in the next 2 months that will be devoted to these blushes rather than my blush in my project pan. So we will see how that works out. But we did have my cream blush that was made out of the ColourPop blush stick in Pretty Thing, and that is my red pink blush. You guys saw this in my 24 and 2024, and you guys saw that huge pan in there. So I will be using this blush another 10 times, which is not hard because I reach for this blush almost every single day. So this one will be easy to knock those uses out on. And then we had my Holo Taco Cosmic Unicorn Skin. As you guys can see, it is this beautiful, flaky shade, and like I said, this is what's on my fingers, and that is what's giving it that little bit of iridescent shift right there. That is the unicorn skin. So I love the unicorn skins. If I was to repurchase any formula from Holo Taco, I don't know if I would go for their glitters. Their cremes are okay, but these flakies is where it's at. I would buy more flakies in a heartbeat. You just have to like the shift that they end up giving. So, but we will do 10 uses. And again, on my nail polishes, each hand is considered a use. So either 5 manicures or pedicures or a mix of the both. So the last thing we had is my Pat McGrath blush palette, and as you guys can see, I told you I repressed all of my highlighters at the beginning of the year into the Tarte palette. So this used to be the highlighter, but I did create another blush. So this is what the palette is looking like now. So of course these two are original to the palette, and then this is the Franken one that I ended up making. If I can get the camera to focus on it instead of my face, that would be fabulous. So we are going to reach into these blushes, which again is another 10 use of blushes that is taking away from my Project Pan blush, but it's okay because I need to be using all of my makeup, not just one blush. So I love these. I love the one that I created also. It is gorgeous and stunning, and this like warm peachiness on the cheeks. So this will be beautiful. And this one up here does end up kind of being that like cold swept look. So I can see using this a whole lot when the weather gets a little bit colder here, which bless it, you know, the guy that does all of the like Instagram reels and TikToks, he's the British guy that always talks about America. And then like he actually came to America and visited, and now he's like, I got to stick up for the Americans. You British people say this all the time, but you don't know what it's like in America. He did a video recently talking about how like he was owed an apology from Americans because we always say that Britain doesn't get that cold compared to here. And he was saying that it got down to like -7 Celsius, which translates to like 19 degrees Fahrenheit in freedom units, you know? And I had to laugh because here in northern Florida, the Sunshine State, that everybody complains about the heat, everybody complains about the humidity, it gets down to 19 degrees here. In February, when it actually gets cold, we have temperatures down into the teens. So I was like, I own a ski jacket. I am a Floridian and I own a ski jacket because I cannot stand the cold, and it gets down into the teens. So, Britain, you don't get warm and you don't get cold like we do here in the States. I think somebody had commented that it gets down to like negative 107 in like Montana, and I'm like, y'all can take it. I don't even want to think about what negative 107 would feel like. No, thank you. But I don't even know where oh, the cold sun swept cheeks. That is the thought that caused the tangent. So, but yes, I do love a beautiful rosy cheek in the wintertime. So, we have all my products. Let me go ahead and put these away. I have my palettes, so we will go over the palettes that I was able to use up and use every shade, and some of the ones that I'm still hanging on to from last update, but we will go over my No Pan Left Behind. So I will reach behind me real quick if you guys are spying what's right there and what I kind of teased. Let me grab that real quick. So, to nobody's surprise, this is the Roxa. I know there's an accent to it because it is meaning purple in a different language, but this is the new Natasha Denona palette with the beautiful ripple design that is covered in fingerprints already, but it does have this beautiful green shift. And you've probably seen this all over the internet, but this is our color story on the inside. So, like, I wasn't going to pick this up. Nobody is surprised. And I was messaging with Andy today and I said, this is probably going to be my replacement for the It's My Pleasure. Like, when I am done with the It's My Pleasure for the year being my Pan That palette, this is going to be the replacement for it. It is just gorgeous, and it does have those same tones and sparkles to it. I'll see if any of these sparkles live up to Earthshine, but we will have to see. The one up here, Dixie, this one up here, it looks promising because it has a little bit of a bluish green shimmer in it. So we will have to see. But any new palette that comes into my collection does go onto the forefront and gets put in my little rack right there for me to use. And so we do have the Retro Glam that I rolled in my deck of panning. So that one is back there. And then the Ensley Rain Flower Moon is back there. That is currently in my deck of panning. So those two. And whenever I sent the picture of the Ruxa palette to Andy, she was like, get ready with me. And I was like, well, I still haven't filmed the video where I try the Tier foundation. So if you guys want, this weekend I will film the Get Ready With Me that will go up on the 1st with the Tier foundation. And I can go ahead and I can do a look with this if you guys want. If there's particular shades in here that you guys want to see me use, let me know down below. If you want me to do a palette bingo with this and just let the luck of the draw pick my shades, let me know down below too. You guys get to decide what I do with this palette, but I will put this on my eyes when I do my Get Ready With Me for the 1st of November. But let me pull up my stuff here and consult my book with my palettes drawn into it, which I need to draw the Ruxa palette into my book here. But let me get a drink because my voice is tired from work and also tired from talking, and I still have half a video to film. So let me stack these in palettes that are done and palettes that I'm still working on. All right, so on the first one, actually, let me move this so I can turn my page. And I was looking through something the other day. Oh, I was looking through all of my palette graphics on Canva, and I'm actually missing one of my palettes on there. And it's a palette that's old, so I have no reason. Maybe I accidentally deleted that page, but it is a palette that is not on my Canva like graphics, and it hasn't been used in my book, so we shall see. But the first one that I was able to use to completion is the ColourPop Star Wars Mandalorian The Child palette. And so it's this beautiful little green, kind of like little Grogu, but little green palette. It is gorgeous. It's so fun to use. These sparkles in here are amazing. The Force and Precious Cargo. So Precious Cargo is up here, and then the Force is this beautiful gold. They are stunning. The two green shimmers in here, these two here, are so smooth and soft. Like, this really is the wonderful ColourPop formula that I know and love. The dark brown down here is okay, but it can get a little patchy. So I usually have to use a natural hair brush for that one to get it to blend. But overall, I do love this palette. I loved using it. I did use up every shade in here, and that was all used in September because my marker is all purple, but obviously I had other shades that needed to be done prior to this update. Let me get this one out of the way real quick. So I do have my Super Shocks in my wheel, and whenever I roll in a single, then I use it 5 times, and that is how I can roll this out. I think I only had like 2 or 3 uses on this last time. It is this beautiful gold shade here, but this is drying out. And it hurts my heart because it is from the Disney, not Disney, it's that knee, but no, this is from the Disney collection, and it is the Pocahontas one. So this is Colors of the Wind, and it is such a beautiful shade, but I can get close to no color payoff with this. I am scrubbing my finger in there. There's hard pan on here, so I might try to take some tape and like get the hard pan off and see if that works. But it's getting to that point that when Super Shocks dry out and they start to get crumbly instead of smooth and like sparkly, and you're just fighting the crumbles to get them on your eye. So if anything, I would probably dig out the formula or the product and save the packaging and repress something else in here just to keep this beautiful packaging, because it has these holographic leaves on it for Pocahontas. And it is so, so beautiful, but very sad that this one is drying out. One that I was able to get done relatively quickly because I only had a couple shades left to use on this one, and it's reflective packaging. Somebody send help or coffee or something because my mouth is not working anymore tonight. But Natasha Denona Glam. This is the cool toned neutral-ish one from Natasha Denona. Usually there's more sparkles than mattes, so usually I have more sparkles to use if a palette rolls over. So that was the case with this one. I had some more sparkles to use in this one, but this one was really convenient because I had a lot of days when I was going out to meet clients, and so I needed more of a neutral toned look. So it was very easy for me to reach for this one. Now, absolutely contrary to that one, and actually the palette that I have, well, one of the palettes that I have on my eyes today, that is the Odin's Eye and Angelica Trick or Treat palette. This one's been in for, I think, 2 or 3 updates, and so we are finally done. The last shade that I needed to use in this one is obviously the blue up here, so that was the last shade. And this one is Magic Potion, and I actually love this shade. I feel like this shade can kind of transform a look, but I did go with straight, you know, blue look today. So I did use 2 other palettes to create this look. I always have the palette that's on my eyes. I always have the palette linked down below. So if you guys are ever curious what's on my sparkles, what's sparkling on my face, it is always linked down below. So the last shade I had to do was this one. This one, like I said, it took me, I have 3 different marker colors in here. So this took me between August, September, and October to get this one done, but very happy. And if you guys saw a couple videos ago when I had that like intense green look on and everybody was like, holy moly, what's on your eyes? That was that shade right there, that green shade right there. That is called Witch's Brew. That was what was on my lids and making that beautiful green sparkle. Now I know Odin's Eye just did a sale on any remaining stock of the Halloween palettes with Angelica. I don't know because I don't want the little ghost palette because the color story doesn't call to me. I didn't look to see if they're sold out yet, but I think they were having like 30% off just to get the rest of the stock out. So if they still have some of those palettes, check out Odin's Eye's website to see if they still have anything. But those were the 3 palettes and the Super Shock that I was able to roll out. And so the items that are still in progress would be my other Super Shock. And this one is in Birthday Girl. This is from the birthday collection from 2017. So I probably need to say goodbye to this one. I have repressed it with some vitamin E oil. And it doesn't smell rancid, so it hasn't gone bad, but it is starting to crumble again. So again, I think that this is another Super Shock, and I might need to just let go of the majority of my Super Shocks because it isn't something that I'm wanting to reach for when I have things like the Ensley Rain palettes or Glaminatrix or Lethal. Like, those are the sparkles that I want to reach for. I'm not reaching for potted singles anymore. So I might really have to do a hard look and a truthful conversation with myself at the end of the year about these Super Shocks. But I have 4 uses on this, so I only have 1 more use to go, and so this will stay in. I might see about rolling in enough pallets to fill up my little container back there, just because we do only have really 2 more months left in the year, so I need to buckle down and get the remaining pallets done. So I might just do a free-for-all grab for some pallets. But 1 more use on this and I'll be able to roll it out, and that is the Super Shock in Birthday Girl. Now, the next palette that I have the most use on, I rolled this in last update, and this is the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. This one had not been touched at all throughout the year, so I just started using this last month whenever I rolled it in, and I only have 5 more shades to go on it. Hopefully, I have been popping up my graphics like I usually do so you guys can see what I'm talking about, but this is just a beautiful neutral palette. And so loving this, and loved, again, I did a lot of visits out with my clients, and so this was perfect for me to wear when I was going out. This week I only had to go out on Tuesday and Friday, so today I did this look. Tomorrow we will see if I can use some more shadows from my Flower Moon palette, and so this did come in very handy, but I still do have 5 more shades on this one, so I'll probably wear this on Friday whenever I have to go out and see my client for an assessment. So that is that palette, and then this one is hanging on, and I'm okay because I'm okay with this one being used more during the appropriate season, and that is the Odin's Eye Merry Christmas palette. I have only used the black. That's it. Everything else has not been touched. I did pick this shade out as my favorite shade in this palette, and so I will make sure that whenever I use this, I will do this on a day that I'm filming, because I'm going to put this all over my lid and smoke the crap out of it, and this is going to just be stunning. I am so excited about that shade, and that is the shade New Year, so very excited. So this one still needs pretty much the whole palette touched, but I'm okay with that because I'm okay with using this more around, after Thanksgiving and more around the Christmas season. So if I look at my book, so Retro Glam is rolled into Deck of Panning, so that one's good. I still have about half of Yucca to use. I have the Bridgerton Pat McGrath palette, the first one. That one I have to use. Tarte Volume 1, Cosmic Beauty Gothic, which that is more of a Halloween type of... So how about this? If you guys are okay with it, I'm not going to randomize palettes. I'm going to pull in palettes that I know I'll be able to use during this time frame, because otherwise I don't want to be down to the wire with rolling stuff in, even though we have until the end of the year. So let's see. So I have Tati Volume 1, Cosmic Brushes Gothic. I have the Glaminatrix Rich Romantic. I have the majority of that one to do. Ensley Rain Flower Moon is in Deck of Panning, so that one's fine. And I actually only have 5 more shades in that one to use, but they're all shimmers, so like I can't pile them all into one look. I have ABH Sultry. I have Sigma Quarter Rosa, Naked or Urban Decay Naked Honey. I have the So Jaded palette, which I have depotted and condensed into the shades that I actually like. And then I have In a Trance. Those are the palettes that I have left. So let me look at how many spaces I have left in my little divider there, and I will pull enough palettes to fill that little container. So let me do that real quick. I'm sorry if you guys are like, but we like the randomize, but I am down to the wire with this, so I don't want to mess around. So let me pull some palettes and I will let you guys know what I am picking. All right, so I have 7 spots in my divider, but I have 9 palettes pulled out. But I will say that a couple of the palettes, I only have a few shades left, so I'm not worried about it. But what we're going to do, because again, any new palette that comes in has to go in that divider to get used. So this one is going back in the divider. Then, of course, Merry Christmas is going in the divider, and the rest of I Need a Nude is going in the divider. But I feel like I can use the remaining shades in 2 looks in this, so this will be rolled out by next week. So what I'm going to do is let me turn my page. So with Yucca, I only have 5, 6, 7. So I have half the palette. So I have 7 more shades out of Yucca to use. So I think I can do 2 looks, 2, 3 looks, depending on how many of them are shimmers, but 2 or 3 looks with this one and have this palette rolled out. So we're going to put Yucca back in the divider. And plus, these are some great tones for fall. So we're going with doing the rest of Yucca. Keeping with kind of the fall tones, I am going to go ahead and pull in my Urban Decay Naked Honey. This is probably my favorite Urban Decay Naked palette, and it's a shame that I haven't used it yet this year because I love these tones. So I am totally down for using some of these rich golds in the upcoming season. And I think that it'll also go really, really well with if I run out of a shimmer in the Yucca palette, because I think Yucca is a little bit more matte heavy than her normal palettes. So if I run out of shimmers in Yucca, I can easily pull a shimmer from the Urban Decay palette and pop that on. Typically, I can do about 3 looks with one of the Naked palettes and be done with it. So this one will be very easy because of how monochrome it is. So I'm not worried about mixing and matching shades like something that is a little bit more mixed up in its tones and colors, which the next one that I'm pulling is. So I'm going to go ahead, and this is what my ColourPop So Jaded looks like now. I pulled out everything that I wouldn't use, and I pulled out the glitters, and I scraped those out and I tossed them. I'm never using those chunky glitters on my eyes. So this is what my So Jaded looks like. This is still a big palette. 21 shades, I think. 2, 4, 6, 7. Yeah. So 21 shades. This is a big palette, even though the shades are, or the pans are tiny. So I've not touched this at all. I'm very excited about reaching into it. I still love all the purples down here. I love all the warm stuff up here, and you guys know I'm a sucker for greens, so this one will not be hard for me to work into fall looks, but this one will take me probably a full 5 days of makeup to go ahead and use every shade in this palette. So I'm rolling in the So Jaded. And then, of course, I talked about this because it is spooky season, and that is the Cosmic Beauty Gothic palette. So this is an all purple, beautiful palette. And I'm curious how, since I have this here, and I'm trying not to drop anything, because we all know what happens when I drop palettes onto my floor. They shatter. So let me hold these 2 up and see. I don't see, what are we thinking? I think that the Gothic palette is a little more bright, and this is a little bit more toned down. So the saturation on this one is toned down, where this one, the purples in here are a little bit more vibrant. So I don't think that these will compete with each other. They definitely will complement each other, but I am so excited about some purple looks. I want Cosmic Beauty, which the Undergrowth palette is still on my radar for the end of the year. I would love to pick that one up, but I would love to see some more 12 pans. I feel like some of the bigger palettes from Cosmic Beauty can be pared down into some really, really cool 12 pans. So bring back this format, this size, this format, how skinny the palette is. This is perfect. So Gothic palette. So for our little container back there, we have Ensley Rain Flower Moon, we have Retro Glam, we're going to have the Roxa palette, we're going to have the Gothic palette, Merry Christmas, Yucca, Naked Honey, Not stone vibes. Oh God. Oh God. So jaded. My brain, which that was probably really loud. Sorry about that. I'll try to bring that down in editing. But so jaded, and then the rest of the I Need a Nude. Holy moly, we are at the home stretch. But let me see. Once I have all those done, where am I going to be left at? So that would mean next month and rolling into December, I would need to use the Pat McGrath Bridgerton, the Tarte Volume 1. I would need to use the Rich Romantics from Glaminatrix. I would need to use Sultry, which I held Sultry back from now because I like doing some smoky looks around Christmas time with Sultry. And then we'll need to do Quarter Rosa, which doing that in late November is still fall enough for here. And then In a Trance, I saved that one off for December because it has more of those blue, like cool tones that are kind of icy. So I don't mind doing that one, but that will set us up really, really well. Of course, if I do pick up any more palettes before the end of the year, I will try to use them before the end of the year. But of course, it just depends on when I end up picking them up and when I end up receiving them. So, but for right now, I think I'm okay. I think these palettes are going to be rolling over into December, but I'm going to try my best to dip into as much as I can. But definitely, we're into the home stretch and I'm feeling a little bit nervous. But I have faith that I can put makeup on my eyeballs and I will be able to use every single shade in every palette in my collection. So that is my No Pan Left Behind. I feel good, but apprehensive. But we'll see what turns out next update and what I'll be able to roll out. Let's see. Do I have anything else that I was able to use up? I finished the I Need a Warm back in September and October. So I was able to finish up I Need a Warm. And then I finished Zendo in my deck of panning. And I think that is it as far as other palettes that I was able to use between last update and this update. Yeah, it would be Zendo and it would be I Need a Warm. So we still have a long way to go, but I have faith. You guys are going to have to let me know. Are you guys doing a No Pan Left Behind? How are you doing? Are you feeling the pinch at the end of the year? Because I can't believe that we're almost to Halloween and then rolling into November. Again, drop down below and let me know if you want me to do certain shades out of this one or if you want me to do a palette bingo, and I'll film that one and get that uploaded for you guys on the 1st of November. You guys let me know what you want me to do. But now I'm going to let you guys know what I want you to do. I'm going to encourage you to do all the things. Go ahead and hit a thumbs up on this video. Let me know that you are enjoying my content. If you are new or if you are lurking, consider hitting that subscribe button. It is free for you, but it definitely helps me out. And I am so amazed that I was able to hit 2,100 subscribers recently, and it is because you guys are an amazing community that love hanging out with me and hearing me ramble about my makeup. So I appreciate each and every one of you for hitting that button down there. Drop me a comment. Let me know how you're doing with your projects, how you're doing with your life. Thank you as always for your continued lovely comments and support on my puppy dog, Malcolm. We're taking a little bit of a turn right now, so I am just enjoying my time with him and keeping him comfortable, and we're going to go put some Lord's chicken in him and take him to Chick-fil-A and see if that revitalizes him a little bit. But I am getting a little bit concerned. So keep him in your prayers, in your thoughts, in whatever you believe by putting good vibes out into the world. Consider thinking about my sweet boy, Malcolm. But otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and I still have to take a lot of pictures and a lot of weights and do a lot of graphics and edit this in the next 24 hours to get it up on time for you guys. So I appreciate each and every one of you for being here, for your encouragement, for your support, for your kindness in the community that has found me. It is because of you guys that I am here doing this. So I appreciate each and every one of you. But I'm going to wish you guys a beautiful day, and I'm going to catch you in my next one.